So what will the bank of the future look like? Well, it sometimes feels like we're right in the middle of a technology and business model change tornado. Many of the things that we're talking about here today, like Internet of Things, automation, artificial intelligence, voice control, and other big technological trends will obviously have an impact on what the bank of the future will look like. For instance, when my fridge starts ordering my milk and paying for it, and my car starts ordering its next tune-up and paying for it, it's obvious that the bank of the future needs to handle a lot more transactions between the things in the Internet of Things. There are other trends that we can look at and see, get a feeling for what the bank of the future will look like. Our customers, they will want to bank with us through their channel of choice at a time most convenient for them, whether it being on the bus on their way to work in the morning, in our branches, or in bed late at night. As an example, we launched a new mortgage assessment process this last December. And since then, over 50% of the mortgage assessments have happened outside of regular banking hours. The customer will furthermore demand that we know his needs and, without being creepy, give him sound advice when needed and simplify his life as much as possible. We can also look at a new breed of companies that have revolutionized their industries. Airbnb, for instance, has become the world's biggest reseller of accommodations without owning a single property. Uber is the largest taxi company in the world without owning a single car. Facebook is the biggest publisher in the world without owning any content. These trends, as well as the fact that if we look inside the financial industry, we have over 2,000 billion Icelandic kroner each and every year going into new ventures that are set to revolutionize the financial industry. So it's clear that the bank of the future will look a lot different from the bank of today. But to be totally honest with you, and maybe I shouldn't say this to you, I don't know what the bank of the future will look like. And I would be very interested in meeting some of you that think you know what the bank of the future will look like exactly. But we at Arion banki, we realize we don't know exactly what it will look like. So we've decided that we must develop our ability to, first of all, lead the changes that are going to be made in the next coming years, as well as to adapt quickly to the changes, to the inevitable changes that are going to happen in the marketplace. So, for the English-speaking crowd, this nice slide says that the same old thinking will always lead to the same old conclusion. And in our experience, IT projects, not only within Arion banki, but generally, tend to take too much time. They also have a hard time living up to the expectations, both of our customers as well as other stakeholders in the company. And finally, and maybe most importantly, they usually aren't able to capture the value intended in the first place. To meet these challenges, we at Arion banki have decided to establish a digitization accelerator with the aim of completely redesigning key customer journeys. We call this accelerator Stafræn framtíð, or Digital Future. Today, I want to share with you the key principles that we work after in Digital Future. The first one entails that we always work on reimagining key end-to-end customer processes. Our ambition in Digital Future is to gain a 10 or 20 times improvement in the process, not a marginal 10 to 20% improvement. The only way we can gain such a big change and a large improvement is through a zero-based redesign of the complete end-to-end process. If we were to attack single problems in the current processes, we might be foregoing, basically sidestepping those problems with a completely reimagined process. A good example of such a process is the redesign of the credit assessment journey that I mentioned before. The old process took 5 to 10 days, and many of you have gone through it. If you've gone through it, you'll remember that you had to assemble a whole lot of documents and get them to the bank, either electronically or by hand. When at the bank, extensive manual work ensued in getting this information from the documents into the systems and making the evaluation. As said before, this took 5 to 10 days, usually. Now, in our reimagined process, it takes 3 minutes. And the only thing that the customer needs to enter is his email address and his phone number attached to his electronic ID. Let's take a look at how this process benefits our customers and gets them ahead in the tough Icelandic real estate market. Oh, technical problems.
Við viljum að bankaviðskipti gangi hratt og vel fyrir sig, svo þú getur einbeitt þér að því sem skiptir þig máli. Og þegar þú finnur réttu eignina, þarf allt að ganga upp. Þess vegna bjóðum við fullgilt greiðslumat á arionbanki.is. Það tekur aðeins 3 mínútur og veitir þér forskot í fasteignaleitinni. Arion banki, þægilegri bankaþjónusta fyrir framtíðina.
So, I encourage all of you to try out this new process. As said before, and the ad says, it only takes 3 minutes. And Arion banki normally only charges the external costs that we incur during the process. But as you're all my personal friends, we'll waive those costs today. So I really encourage you to try it out. The next principle is all about the team and cooperation. First of all, the whole team is 100% focused on a single project for its duration. Team members hand over the day-to-day tasks and put an out-of-office message on their email and their phones. Our teams are composed of a business cell. Our teams are composed of a business cell and an IT cell, which each comprises 6 to 8 people. The teams are led by a project manager, a scrum master, and a change agent. Each team is co-located 5 days a week and shielded off as necessary from the rest of the organization and the outside world for productivity reasons. The business cell is composed of front and back office personnel, designers, and specialists such as risk management, marketing, and probably most importantly, if you've listened to the lectures before, lawyers. The business cell participates fully in the project for its whole duration, not just during the analysis and design phases, which is a radical change from what we've done before. And this really makes a big difference, because this allows us to cut the communication gap between the business and IT cells. The IT cell has full stack capabilities and is mostly self-sufficient during the project. We handpick our teams, and we look for candidates which are visionary, they have out-of-the-box thinking, are positive and ambitious, pragmatic and solution-oriented, are strong problem solvers, and not afraid to get their hands dirty. This way of working is definitely not for everyone. High velocity, unconventional organization, hard deadlines, and some uncertainty are part of the process. Some people handle these elements better than others, but for the right people, they really blossom during the journey. Let's hear from one of our participants, actually the lawyer on our first project, on how she experienced the first project. And apologies again to the English-speaking people, this is in Icelandic, so you'll get the gist.
Þetta byrjaði svo sem bara að það var hóað í mér með stuttum fyrirvara og spurt hvort ég væri til í að taka mér lögfræðiverkefni fyrir fyrsta verkefnisdagurinn framtíðar. Fyrsta daginn þá byrjuðum við á svona full day workshopi þar sem allur hópurinn hittist og þar kom svona hópur og fólki sem ég hafði í raun aldrei hitt, mikið af tæknigaurum og vefhönnuðum og kollegi minn sem situr við hliðina á mér í lögfræðideildinni spurði hvort við værum að fara að lana inn í fundarherberginu. Og ég verði eiginlega viðurkenna að mér leist ekkert á þetta fyrsta daginn. Ég hugsaði að þetta einhver misskilningur, ég á ekkert að vera hérna. Og hugsaði bara, ég þarf bara einhvern veginn að rökstyðja að aðkoma lögfræðins, hún bara aðeins önnur en annarra og ég skal taka mér þetta verkefni en ég bara sit í mínu sæti og lesi yfir skilmála og svara spurningum. Þannig að fyrsti dagurinn fór svona að hugsa svolítið hvernig kem ég mér út úr þessu. Mitt hugafar algjörlega gjörbreytt. Þessi aðferðafræði hefur sýnt sig, hún að virka. Og það nauðsynlegt fyrir hópinn að sitja saman og fyrir lögfræðinga að vera hluti af hópnum. Þetta algjörlega ný nálgun. Við setjum okkur metnaðarfullt markmið sem við ætlum að ná eftir 16 vikur og svo teymið sett saman. Svo kom í rauninu bara í ljós þegar hópurinn fór að vinna saman að verkefni var allt öðruvísi heldur en ég hafði ímyndað mér og hlutverk lögfræðings miklu stærra í svona verkefni því að við erum ju alla daga að reyna að finna leiðir til þess að ná markmiðinu og það strandar yfirleitt á lagaumhverfinu þannig að hverjum degi fæ ég spurningar, er þetta hægt, getum við gert þetta svona eða svona. Þannig að það algjörlega nauðsynlegt að sitja með teyminu og svo var þetta bara rosa skemmtilegt og frábær hópur. Og ég held við séum ekkert hætt á þessari vegferð. Þetta leið sem að virka og allir sammála það.
We act like a startup within an established company. But what does that mean? So first of all, the project is fully financed with venture capital and resources. The team is then responsible and trusted to make the most of this investment. We do not consider these projects to be IT projects, but rather business-driven projects with a large IT component. The bank's executive board prioritizes the end-to-end customer journeys and picks which ones to attack next. After that, nothing more is decided until the first workshop of the project, where the whole project team comes together and analyzes the process. The first day of the workshop, we come together and basically draw up the old process, then we throw it away, and in the second day of the workshop, we create basically a vision of the happy flow of the new process. Based on that, the team then determines the minimum viable product that we're going to produce during the project. The customer is always top of mind during these projects. We are extremely aware that we must create solutions which our customers are eager to use. We must remember that we serve a wide variety of customer segments. Already on the third day of each project, we start testing mock-ups of the new process with real-life customers. The designer is a key part of that process in order to make the new journey come to life and for us to be able to effectively communicate the new thinking to the customer and test it with them. The customer journey is iterated throughout the whole project, and some customer testing is happening each and every week of the project. We time box our efforts at 16 weeks. And a fixed time period means, a fixed time period and a fixed budget means that the scope of the project is going to be variable. Besides focusing the team and forcing it to prioritize and run hard during the whole period, the fixed time boxing also serves as a risk management technique. If a project doesn't go to plan, if we don't get the rewards of the journey, we can simply cut our losses after the 16 weeks instead of going on and on and on and incurring more costs. We empower the team to make all but the most critical decisions during the project time. Our ambition is that the team never needs to wait for anyone. Quick decision-making is ensured with at least weekly decision meetings where the bank CEO and 2 to 3 executive vice presidents of the bank participate. It's their responsibility to remove all obstacles and thus ensuring that the team can run at maximum speed. A large part of my job, the job of the decision meeting group that I just mentioned, as well as of my project managers, is to be a roadblock remover for the projects. But removing roadblocks is also resides with the team itself. The team is encouraged to be solution-oriented and to really believe that no one and nothing can stop it in achieving its goals. The whole bank as well, as our partners, are highly engaged in the process and willing to do basically anything needed to support us in achieving our vision. This mentality of no roadblocks is infectious, and I think our partners will attest to it. Partners such as the Icelandic Tax Authority, we've got Credit Info, who I think are in the room, Valitor, Nýherji, Advania, Syndis. They've all run really, really hard with us and got infected by this no roadblock mentality. They've solved really complex issues within almost impossible deadlines, and we're very thankful for it. One example that I want to mention to you is that during a Thursday afternoon project meeting with one of our partner companies, one of their representatives suggested that they would solve a particular problem that we had early next week. Our project manager thought about that for a little bit and then replied, well, yeah, that would be really, really great to solve it early next week, but let's not exclude the possibility that we'll be able to do it already this week. I mean, it's only Thursday, right? So talk about being a little bit passive-aggressive, right? The whole organization is highly committed to this program. We can see this, for example, by the CEO of the bank and 2 to 3 executive vice presidents being willing to participate in weekly meetings just surrounding the digital future initiatives. This project and this pathway that we're on is fully financed for the next 4 to 5 years in the company's business plan. The board regularly requests updates on the program and goes into serious discussions on the strategy and the progress. And finally, and what I think is most fun about this, is that the business executive vice presidents, they really fight for their projects to get into the line, into digital future. And with that comes a certain commitment. They have to supply the people, the business people that come into each project, and they do that without any problems. So full commitment. This is the digital future approach. It's composed of these few components. None of these components is more important than another, but together they are a comprehensive approach which guarantees a successful and rapid transformation of key customer journeys. Through this approach, we will have launched 13 new solutions in 10 months. The approach has started to spread throughout the organization as well, and other projects are now utilizing the approach far outside of IT or IT-related projects. I want to show you another example of a product that comes out of digital future, which is called the credit card payment splits.
Við viljum að bankaviðskipti gangi hratt og vel fyrir sig, svo þú getur einbeitt þér að því sem skiptir þig máli. Þess vegna bjóðum við þér að dreifa kreditkortagreiðslunum í netbankanum eða í Arion appinu. Því stundum þarf bara að jafna útgjaldatoppana. Arion banki, þægilegri bankaþjónusta fyrir framtíðina.
We strongly believe in this approach, and it already has a proven track record within Arion banki. Participating in the projects, participating in the digital future projects, is a highly rewarding experience for the team. And most importantly, it's a whole lot of fun. We're always looking for the best and the brightest to add to our teams. So if you're interested in working alongside us, please get in contact. We look forward to the future. Thank you. So, are there any questions? Exactly. I actually had that question written down here. Thanks for bringing it up. The 16 weeks is a question that I get often. Why 16 weeks? So, there's nothing magic about it, first of all. But we've thought quite long and hard about it, and we've tried out, okay, what would this program look like with 12 weeks? And with 12 weeks, for instance, we feel that the overhead of starting a project, of building the team, etc., would be rather too much. It would be too limited of an output in relation to the overhead. If we're moving to the 20 weeks, we start seeing a drop in urgency, and we also see a diminishing effect of the risk mitigation that I talked about before. So we have bigger, more expensive projects that the cutoff point comes later in the stage. So for us, 16 weeks works, but there's nothing magic about it. Other questions?
How many teams are you running?
Currently we're running 3 teams, and we're still scaling up.
Have you ever started a project that you need to stop?
No. The question was, have we ever started a project that we needed to stop? The answer is no. Yep.
Testing the dream solution against the customers.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about that?
So the question was, how do we go about testing the dream solution with the customer on the 3rd day? Basically, the first half of the 3rd day goes into mocking it up. We use wireframes, we use whatever the tools that the designer uses to get a rough picture of the process, and then we simply put it in front of the customer and ask him questions. How do you like it? Would you use this process? And we already get quite valuable feedback right at that stage. More questions? Okay, thank you very much.